I mean, it sounds like an outsider's view of the strengths of the Nordic region in terms of society more than architecture in general, more than purely in terms of architecture, more as a kind of explanation or an outsider's attempt to explain certain architectural features of the Nordic region through the societies.
Yeah, probably it's, at least I see it as an attempt to investigate the relationships between architecture and society and politics and maybe economics as well. And it's interesting to see the results of the investigation is what is the role of architecture in the different levels of this Maslow hierarchy. And maybe the conclusion should be that architecture does exist in every level.
And I mean, I suppose it makes you wonder to some extent whether the theme is looking for, is Nordic architecture somehow more democratic than somewhere else, or are there some kind of because I find it hard to see that there would be any kind of very strong stylistic differences, or whether there's any relevance between style and politics as such. It's difficult to tell what will be actually visible in the exhibition and how it could be done.
Yeah, and it also probably ties into the whole theme of the entire Biennale. By having this angle that in a way our globally significant wealth as a society somehow explains the architecture directly, so there might be this in a way not necessarily critical, but like at least a way to try to explain certain successes and maybe certain weak points, not through the brilliance of individual Scandinavian white men, but through the kind of conditions or conditions into which these buildings have been built.
Style-wise, it's difficult to see that there's anything that strong, but basically I suppose you need to be outside Scandinavia to assess that. And I suppose in the scale of projects and how like big hospitals or what types of hospitals are built in the Nordics, which is probably different from many other countries in the world, which is due to wealth and the system we have here. And through that, I suppose there must be a difference to many other countries.
Architecture is always related to society and politics and economy, and in that sense it would be crazy to say that we don't have a own Nordic architecture atmosphere or situation going on. But in some sense, I think the current status of architecture is such that it's very hard to give borders or limit style-wise or philosophy-wise, except on certain areas or certain places, like what we're doing in China or in oil countries in the Middle East, that architecture is used to answer sort of different needs. But apart from those cases, those style-wise or
yeah, I think we've been recently thinking that there is this. There seems to be this tendency for like Nordic countries to demand more finished, in a way, output from architecture firms before the commitment to actually build anything is made. So that what Nordic countries seem to be a little bit allergic about is these very open-ended processes, which then give a lot of trust to individual developers or individual designers as such, and the process seems to be geared more and more towards having to have like super photorealistic renderings of anything before the decision to actually commit to that can be made, and in a way to kind of quality control everything pre-decision. Whereas in many other cultures and many other economic or political systems, there are these more chaotic and then potentially maybe more interesting ways of maybe collaborative processes that are not so heavily quality controlled before. So that at least that's evident in the way competitions and also public project bidding is organized.
Of course, teamwork is much appreciated, and I think the teamwork is not only method, but it's also it's the value itself somehow. And I don't see the teamwork only as teamwork sort of inside our own team, but together with the other specialists and possible client and possible users and municipalities and so on. So the working together is a method and a value.
We try to provide designs which are not something that would be automatically created by any international team of contemporary architects. And that's pretty tough because the field is very level, everybody's using the same software and same tools, everybody has more and more similar type of education. Information is spread very evenly nowadays, which is a great thing. And it also, I feel that the level of architecture globally is probably higher than ever because of this. You can't get away locally anymore with the kind of less quality stuff because you will be challenged internal, like from abroad or from outside your own community. And also, so, but that also means that it's tougher to find very unique ways, or it's tougher also to pretend that you have something very unique or specific to do. But there has to be that, otherwise the practice wouldn't really have a purpose. So then, looking for that angle and trying to kind of be critical, and then to suspend that criticism sometimes and do something a little bit fanciful and see what happens, and not only trying to be kind of perfect in every way, but to allow room for mistakes and experimentation and something controversial sometimes. Maybe that's part of it. Even though we are kind of working on the same ideas and sharing a lot of the same features in the profession, our practices are physically separated, and the everyday life you spend without meeting that many other architects live. So obviously having this global event which attracts a huge amount of the kind of key members of the profession is very significant.
And it's a reminder that there's a global project, architecture as an art form or expression of the bigger human will or needs, and it's a good reminder that there's a bigger meaning in architecture.